ScPrime, 7 reasons why. Well, what is the why here that we're talking about? So why is it a good passive income opportunity? Why is the project solid? Why it's easy to get involved, or how easy is it to get involved? So those are some of the things we're going to talk about today. Take a look. Now, a good place to start is the white paper. And white papers are really detailed sometimes, and this one's no exception. What it does is it explains that this project or this company that's being formed is basically setting up a decentralized mesh network of independent storage providers, basically data storage providers. That's us, okay? We are data storage providers. That's the device that I've got here behind me, and I've got 4 more of them right over here. So that is what it is all about. It's storing data, and you get paid for storing the data. And you get paid through a token called an SCP, an ScPrime token, and which can be sold and traded in crypto exchanges. Basically, that's what it's all about. If you want to get a little bit more information about what the project's about, check out What is ScPrime. That's a video that we put together that kind of gives a little bit more of an overview of all the little different aspects of how the process works and the project as a whole. But also, we have a checklist that's available. And that checklist was designed to do a couple of things. One, it kind of shows you the ropes and gives you all the different links and the resources so that you can do your own research. Because at the end of the day, you need to do your own research. You need to really dig in and understand whether or not this is the type of passive income opportunity that you want to get involved in. That's the one big thing, right? But then it also kind of gives you the how-tos on how to get started, the type of hardware that you need to get started. Now, this project, it gives you a couple different options for getting involved, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in this video. Kind of the first reason is growth. Other projects seem to have a tendency to start off really, really strong. The early adopters profit heavily, and then there seems to be a little bit of a tendency for the project to taper off. ScPrime is a little bit different from that perspective. The project has started off low. Early adopters haven't made fortunes in driving around in Lamborghinis, but it's starting off slow, and they're building a pretty strong and a really healthy foundation. And so the project is continuing to grow, and there's a lot of headroom. And what do I mean by headroom? Okay, well, what I'm talking about is the global data sphere. That means basically the amount of data that companies need to function, and the storage needs for those companies to store their data is growing exponentially over time. Right now, you can see in this chart, at least, that we're sitting somewhere between 100 and 200 zettabytes. And just so you know, one zettabyte is 1 billion terabytes. And so if you've got a 128 terabyte hard drive at home, you can do the math on that, right? It's an incredible amount of data. And you can see how over time, the amount of data storage that's needed globally is, like I said, growing exponentially. The growth potential is incredible with this project. And then there's flexibility, multiple ways to earn. There's rent for data storage, and you earn that SCP token, which can be traded in exchanges for US dollars or however you want to monetize that. And then there's incentives and rebates that are involved also with the hardware and the licenses. And then there's network earnings, the SPF. And there's a couple different SPF utility tokens there. There's the A and the B, and we're not going to get into detail there, but basically that gives you the opportunity to not only earn based on your storage devices' profits, but also the entire network. That is another opportunity to earn. And then there's safety. There's the non-custodial wallets come with every license that you have and every device that you have. You hold the keys, no one else has those keys, and it's a very safe and secure process to manage your SCP and SPF tokens. Then there's accessibility. There's the device. This is the XaMiner. The XaMiner is a plug-and-play device that's sold by ScPrime, and that device is basically plug-and-play. Low maintenance. It's got a integrated graphical user interface, which is basically an interface that's easy to click through. There's a small footprint, as you can see, and you get full support for it from the SCP Corporation. Pretty good in terms of accessibility to get involved. And then there's accessibility in terms of once you buy an XaMiner, you also get an opportunity to get a DIY license. So you can actually make your own device to potentially double your potential income with the projects. Basically, when you buy the XaMiner, you get a free license, and then you can set up a DIY system. And I've got a couple right here I'm going to show you. All 4 of these DIY systems are Linux based. And what I mean by that is that Linux is an operating system similar to Windows in that you can load it onto your computer. The one big difference is that Linux is free and Windows, obviously, they charge you for that. So basically this one right here on the left, this is a Beelink Mini PC that's hooked up to a pretty run-of-the-mill standard hard drive enclosure. The next one is an ATOP NUC. This one was purchased with Linux already installed. And by the way, Linux is not difficult to use. It's actually quite simple. I'm not a computer guy, and I figured it out pretty easy. Like I said in my checklist, even Mike can do it. And then over here, I've got a repurposed Mac Mini, and that Mac Mini was wiped, and Linux was installed on that, and that's hooked up to another hard drive enclosure. And then we have over here, which is kind of my favorite setup, this is a ATOP NUC that I purchased with Linux already installed, and it's got a Yoda Master hard drive enclosure, and then inside that enclosure is a 16 terabyte Exos hard drive. That's the DIY setups that I'm talking about here that you can make. And like I said, I am not a computer guy, and I set these up following some basic instructions, following the checklist that I created, and it's really quite easy. It's pretty cool. So accessibility, the project is very accessible. All right, so I should also mention that I have all of these DIY units all in one location, all connected to the same power source, all connected to the same internet connection, which is not what we want for the network. We want the network to be decentralized. And so all these units will be eventually put out into the community and, friends and family and so on, connected to different power sources and different internet connections, because that's what the network is intended to be. We want to make sure that it's decentralized. Having them all be in one location kind of causes it to be a centralized network, kind of like, any Amazon, Google, or Microsoft data center, right? We don't want that. We want these units to be out and about throughout the community. Then there's transparency. Unmatched support is what I'm saying about it. Really, when you look at the way that they have their Discord channel set up, they have support for both the XaMiner as well as DIY system. You can't lose in terms of support. And of course, through Discord, they announce all the latest and greatest news about how the project is working and any new information, as well as team visibility. And you gain that team visibility through the website. Through the website, you get access to product sales. You can buy miners, and you can buy the software, you can buy the licenses, documentation on how to do everything that you need to get set up. And then there's the value proposition and the white paper, which are all very well put together. And then tools. ScPrime has put together tools to basically measure and monitor everything. When you get the hardware, you'll also, for free, there's no extra charges or anything for any of this stuff. You get a console to be able to manage your device, as well as how to monitor your licenses. If you happen to purchase an XaMiner, you also get a free license to set up a DIY system, and so that's where you have access to all those license keys. Then you have the Grafana view. And Grafana view is basically just a fancy way of saying that you get a dashboard view, that you can have that dashboard on your phone, you can have it on your PC, you can have it anywhere you want, and you can look at the status of your storage device. And then, of course, the user interface, which is pretty cool. I'll put a snapshot up here on the screen of what that looks like. And then there's the Uptime Robot, which is not an ScPrime product, but the Uptime Robot works very well to make sure that your devices are always powered up and there's a connection to them to the internet. And you can get a link to that in the checklist, the free checklist that we're making available. So if you want to download a link to that, it's an affiliate link, and so you can get access to the Uptime Robot. And then functional and purpose-driven. So the projects. So what do I mean by that? There's some projects that really aren't very purpose-driven, right? And we all know about those projects. But and this is not a crypto project. This is a real company with a strong business case. So when you look at it from that perspective, you really kind of see it differently than you would maybe some of those other projects. And then how to start. First of all, do your research. This YouTube video is absolutely no substitute for doing your own research. This video is put together for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's not financial advice. That checklist that I'm making available to you, so easy that Mike can do it, I think is a really good resource for you to get involved. All right, so there you go. If you got anything out of this video, please like and subscribe. You know, that kind of goes without saying. That really helps the channel kind of move this forward. And rest assured, we're going to continue to be making lots of content for ScPrime. It's a great project, and we're really excited to be involved with it. So see you next time.